Should Guam privatize its utilities? One long-time and successful businessman on Guam says privatizing GPA and GWA could pay off the more than $1 billion in debt the utilities have and ultimately benefit the ratepayers. PNC's Tim Blas-McHenry has more.
We have about $1 billion worth of debt. And what better way off than to pay off that debt by selling GPA and GWA, privatize it, use the proceeds to pay off the debt.
Speaking at the Dusitani Resort, a building owned by Al Israel, the longtime Guam resident says GPA and GWA's borrowing on the bond market has put Guam ratepayers in a bad position. He says GPA and GWA do not bring in enough revenue to justify the amount that they are borrowing each year. He also says there is a direct precedent on Guam that shows how successfully privatizing a utility can go. That's GTA. Israel says a sell-off of GPA and GWA could be successful with the same conditions under which GTA was sold.
And put in the same conditions that they placed on the Guam Telephone Authority. You can't lay off employees. You have got to keep the existing employees to protect them. Fine, they did that. It just so happens that by attrition, GTA just let the employees go without rehiring them again, rehiring somebody for that same position.
He says GTA's service is outstanding, even better than it was when Guam ran it. But there are some issues with privatizing Guam's utilities. For instance, what about rates? Would they go up? Who would protect the rates against private companies? According to Israel, under a privatized utility, there would still be a rate board that would regulate the companies. This is a standard practice with U.S. utility companies. Investor-owned utilities, or IOUs, are private electricity or natural gas providers. In California, for instance, IOUs make up 3/4 of the state's electricity providers and are regulated by the California Public Utilities Commission, or the CPUC. Israel says that private companies would see value in Guam's utilities, or at least in purchasing them, even with GPA in a transitional phase. Right now, GPA has 2 aging power plants in Cabras 1 and 2, and at the current moment, 2 non-working units in Cabras 3 and 4.
Because they know the potential.
Right.
And Guam, running it as an entity, does not realize the full potential of what they have. To them, it's just a place to dump more employees, more voters.
On a final note,
with Guam, the only way for them to come up with new facilities is to borrow more money. And we'll still have the same results, inefficiency. It's a trademark of government of Guam.
For PNC News, I'm Tim Blas-McHenry.